Hi everybody, this is John, and I wanted to talk to you about, actually I got a little lazy when I was writing this blog. I didn't want to type it, so I decided to sit down in front of this video camera here. By the way, that's the universal sign for, hey, I'll email you, or whatever. Or I didn't want to type. So in Outreach U, there's a principle called the Customer Focus Reflex, which discusses how quickly you respond to a customer's needs. And I actually can't think of a better example of customer focus reflex than what occurred just this past weekend with the Super Bowl 47, where unless you were sleeping under a rock, you know that there was a power outage that kind of messed everything up. For over 30 minutes there was a loss of power. And what's interesting is that there were a number of marketing efforts that took place during that power outage on social media. People that took advantage of the situation and to see the humor in it, while others were sitting around twiddling their thumbs, I guess, waiting to see if their bets were going to hold up. So down below is a link to the article from Mashable.com, but I want to explain kind of what happened. Is that, from a marketing outreach standpoint, we typically think of our graphic designers and our web developers and people, it's 9 to 5, it's 5 o'clock, time to go home, and maybe have a little late night, meeting, creative meeting, but for the most part, 9 to 5. And what's interesting is that the folks who took the best advantage, the brands who took the best advantage of marketing and outreach during this power outage of the Super Bowl, were those who were responding during the power outage on Twitter. And Tide and the Oreo brand were highly applauded for what they did. They actually came up and developed creative, including very high-end graphics that they tweeted out about the power outage just as it was occurring. So when you think about that, that's a Sunday afternoon. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Who's typically working in a graphic design department? Nobody. And here they are. These brands took advantage and made jokes of what was going on at that particular moment, and they put it up on Twitter. And the immediacy of Twitter and Facebook, people started to retweet, and they got such great brand recognition, great outreach regarding their brand through the social media, by knowing how to use the social media outlet. So what's the point that we take out of this? Is that the point that we take is that we need to be very highly fast reflexes to respond to customers' needs. In our outreach and marketing, that isn't having a phone tree where someone calls in and tries to press 6 for one this and 7 for that, and finally they get to somebody who maybe is a live person, or someone who's on they get their voicemail. The social media side of this means that we're outreaching and marketing 24 hours a day, whether that means we're listening on the social media side or reacting to something that's going on. And when I mean reacting, I don't mean that there's a tragedy and we suddenly take advantage of that. I mean reacting as in brands like Tide and Oreo did during this what would be a tense event, but certainly humorous to everybody else watching it, wondering what was going on. So I think that you can learn a lot from this, and that we're in a different world now, and if you're outreaching your message can be delivered in an unplanned way. Certainly you have a planned structure in editorial calendar for your marketing efforts, outreach efforts, including social media. But the fact is, you have to be flexible enough to respond when you can seize an opportunity to promote your brand in a tasteful way. And these guys did it. They did it in a very tasteful and humorous way. You'll see the one video that Calvin Klein put out about their underwear that said, hey, since the lights are still off, and they showed an underwear commercial on Twitter. So it was really interesting. So I think you really have to think about that in your outreach plan. I realize that you do not have, you have scared resources. You always don't have enough resources to take care of everything that's going on. That's why I think you probably need to make a plan for your outreach through social media, your electronic outreach, and enact that plan and find some way to execute it. Because if there's only one or two of you in the outreach department, business development department, you're going to need some help. And electronically, it can be helped. However, it has to be planned, executed, and also be responsive to what's going on in your particular marketplace. And of course, the Super Bowl, everybody's the marketplace, right? Because so many people watch it, 1 out of 4 or whatever. So anyways, that's it. Take a look. The link to the Mashable article is right below here, as well as some other information. So thanks for watching, listening, whatever you do, reading the blog.